Chapter 3. Dumbing Us to Death. An ideological fifth column subverted American education in the early days of the 20th century, with the leader of the movement, Daniel Coit Gilman, the first president of Johns Hopkins University and the Carnegie Institute. Gilman studied at the University of Berlin in 1854-1855, at the same time that Wilhelm Wundt taught there. After Gilman, Wundt's materialist spin on the subjects of the mind and soul, or lack thereof, would dominate the thinking of the most influential of American educators. The result was that children would soon after be viewed as something akin to lab rats, to be put through mazes, their characters molded at the whims of the educational totalitarians. Another form of Germanic thinking informed Gilman's views. He was a member of the Skull and Bones Society. Skull and Bones is a highly secret ritualistic society based at Yale University that has been called the most powerful organization in America. Incredibly, Skull and Bones may be a front for that most mysterious of secret societies, the Illuminati. The German organization from which Skull and Bones obtained its charter appeared within a year after the outlawing of Adam Weishaupt's group in Bavaria, and additionally, an inscription found in the Sanctum Sanctorum of the Bonesmen at Yale is nearly identical in wording to that of a ceremony cited in Proofs of a Conspiracy, an earlier condemnation of the Illuminati by Robeson. Like the Illuminati, Skull and Bones initiates refer to the group as the Order. Since the formation of Skull and Bones, about 2,500 persons have been inducted into the secret group, with a small group of Eastern Establishment families forming the core of the group. These families include the Allen, Bundy, Gilman, Perkins, Wadsworth, Phelps, and Lord families. Other families who rose to wealth in the 18th and 19th century have been added to this group, including the Harrimans, Davison, Rockefellers, Payne, Pillsbury, and Weyerhaeuser families. A third group, not Bonesmen, have acted as intermediaries between Skull and Bones and the financial hub of London. This group includes the Warburg, Schiff, Guggenheim, and Meyer families. Undoubtedly, the most important influence that Skull and Bones has had on the world is through the world of politics. Since the turn of the century, the direction of American statecraft has been largely steered by prominent bonesmen from the Harriman, Bundy, Taft, Stimson, Bush, and other families, although I do not recommend that you hold our breath waiting for the establishment media to avail you of this fact. And perfect example that we saw of that was the 2004 election, when George Bush went up against John Kerry, both belonging to this secret society known as the Skull and Bones. And not a word of it was mentioned in the media, or, well, not in the mainstream media at least. And none of the hard questions were brought to either of these presidential candidates. So for those of you who don't think that the voting system is rigged, take a look at that. According to accounts of the time, members of Skull and Bones took over the administration of Yale University in the late 1800s, while Daniel Coit Gilman was employed there. And it is reported that all presidents of Yale since that time have either been Bonesmen or closely affiliated with the group. Yale and Skull and Bones have provided fertile recruiting grounds for American intelligence agencies, with an in-house club for Bonesmen existing in the CIA, according to Covert Action Information Bulletin. The term spook, CIA jargon applied to spies, in fact was a Yale expression designating a member of a campus secret society. After becoming head of Johns Hopkins University, Daniel Coit Gilman hired another Wundt-trained specialist who, not coincidentally, happened to be a Bonesman. This was G. Stanley Hall, who took over the psychological lab at the university. Hall also founded the American Psychological Association and the American Journal of Psychology, and mentored the career of Fabian socialist New World educator John Dewey. Dewey. Oh boy. Scratch that. Don't worry, folks. That wasn't a Freudian slip of the tongue. Trust me, it wasn't. We'll go back to the beginning here. Dewey, who went on to become the most influential teacher of this century, also studied under George Sylvester Morris, a Hegelian philosopher who had taken his doctorate at the University of Berlin under the same teachers as Gilman. Dewey was among the first to promote school as a mechanism for the creation of a socialist world order, and as a forum for enforcing conformity of the masses rather than as a place to learn the 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic. In 1899, Dewey said, "Children who know how to think for themselves spoil the harmony of the collective society, which is coming where everyone is interdependent." One reason for the success of Dewey's progressive education is that it was backed to the hilt by Rockefeller and Carnegie money. Dewey, for many years, was the honorary president of the National Education Association, founded in 1857. The group was founded as a lobbying organization for teachers that soon aligned itself behind a scarlet psychopolitical banner of progressive education. A delightful sounding term that conceals the brainwashing modus operandi pioneered by the Soviets. By the turn of the century, the NEA was working in full support of Dewey's plans, advocating the dumbing down of the masses into a malleable unit, as well as a one-world Fabian socialist view. A 1934 NEA report avowed a dying laissez-faire must be completely destroyed, and all of us, including the owners, must be subjected to a large degree of social control. This one-worldy view persists in current NEA literature, but it has been recontextualized in recent times as a liberal viewpoint. The group now issues the following pronunciamento in its NEA journal. The teacher can do much to prepare the hearts and minds of children for global understanding and cooperation. At the very top of all the agencies which will assure the coming of world government must stand the school, the teacher, and the organized profession. Another American student of Wundt was James McKean Cattle, who was Wundt's assistant in Leipzig in the years 1883 to 86. Cattle was also deeply influenced by Francis Galton, founder of eugenics. In 1891, Cattle took over the psychology department at Columbia University and spent the rest of his time disseminating Wundtian eugenics doctrine through an abundance of magazines and reference works he edited and wrote. These and other materialist Wundtians and Fabian one-worlders funded by the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, and others intend on the suppression and pacification of the populace of the world, completely remade the face of American education in the 20th century. The agenda that they pursued has culminated in the all-too-familiar situation of American education today, in which the majority of persons graduated from high school are functionally illiterate and ill-prepared for doing anything else than saying yes to Big Brother and the telescreen. From the standpoint of the social controllers, there are many advantages to keeping the populace stupid, not the least being that the less intelligent a person is, the more susceptible he is to exterior control. Currently, one of the primary thrusts in American educational brainwashing goes by a variety of names, including mastery learning, world-class education, common core learning, and outcome-based education, but which is most commonly referred to as Goals 2000. Written into law by Bill Clinton in 1994, Rockefeller monies have launched literally hundreds of books into the educational market pushing Goals 2000. Promoted by the National Education Association, the literature describes Goals 2000 as an academic behavior modification plan based on control theory, reality therapy. The simple purpose of Goals 2000 is populist control and promotion of the totalitarian world order. Instead of teaching children the academic skills that most parents favor, Goals 2000 and its educational offshoots emphasize life adjustment skills, family life education, and environmental stewardship. Academic study is de-emphasized while